Now we're going to go through the process of creating a simple, some of the functionality we need for a top-down RPG game. I'm going to do it just doing the standard template. I'm going to call it Andy's bad day. I don't know. Yep. And I'm going to store in the cloud, that's fine. And that should, I'll open this up full screen as well. Okay, so you can zoom in and out of the scene with your mouse wheel. We've got, if we click on individual entities within the game, we can see what each instance is. We've got this objects here, so this character object here is an instance of top-down character. On the right hand side we have our objects, which are like our classes, so it's like a template for objects we put down. So you'll probably remember from coding that classes are like almost like a template, or the typical version of a thing that you might want to repeat multiple times. So for example, you've got plant. Look how many instances of plant there are. It's about, what, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. To preview this, we'll have some movement, I think. Yes, we can sort of move around, collide with things. So even supports mobile controls as well. So out of the box, we've got that basics that we'd need, obviously, for a top-down experience, right? You can move around. We've got some sort of collision happening, and we've got the basics there. Now, probably going to want to, you can also move the keyboard's keys as well. So you can move around the up, down, left and right keys. This character looks a bit weird, but for now it is what it is. We can also look at these objects. So at the minute we've got this sprite attached to it, which is pretty bland, to be honest, isn't it? We can also look, edit the pixel with the sprite editor, which we won't do now, but just to show you that that's there. It's got one frame of animation, so not really any animation there. You can also edit the collision masks here, which deal with how your object will collide with other objects. Points. And we've got advanced options too. Up here we have behaviors, so it's already been given some. So in GDevelop, it does have many predefined behaviors that you can add to entities or objects in your scene. So for example, there we'll have the smooth camera, so it'll follow the object around. Top-down controls, we can also change things like the speed, but that allows you to basically move it around with the keys. We'll take the rotate option there as well. Some other advanced properties that you can edit, along with the viewpoint types, of which we're using top-down. And we've also got the top-down multi-touch mapper, which is to do with the mobile controls. And you can have things like visual effects. Okay, so I think what we'll do first, cancel that, yeah, fine. This is our game scene events. So at the minute, there's not much there actually. This is where you do all your programmatic events. It's a sort of visual programming system and event sheet, and it's fairly, like, you can do all sorts of this. It's basically a visual scripting interface, a bit like, obviously not as advanced as something like Blueprints in Unreal, but it does allow you to create similar branching events. It's a sort of visual form of programming, I guess. So we've got that so far, so let's have a look, just see what we've got. And I think I'm going to try and load in some assets. So if we go here, go to the shop, I'll try some characters. Now obviously in a real life scenario you're probably going to want to design your own models, but just for the sake of this I'm going to get this guy downloaded, I think. So yep, and add that to the project, add it to the global objects, yeah. And I'm also going to get a few others, so this guy for example is quite cool, add him. And like I said, like probably in your own game you're going to want to add different characters depending on what your game's about and you know what the whole vibe is, I suppose. But yeah, for this example we'll just add a few things that look sort of interesting, not very maybe characters you interact with and such. Okay, so I'm going to go here and I'm going to I need to edit this sprite now. Not there, that's the wrong one. Not that. Remove. Continue editing, apply, and yeah, so I've got all these here. Let's add, at first, let's just add a character we can interact with maybe. So I'm going to add the Conjurer. I'm going to add him. I'm going to add him to this scene, that's fine. And I'm going to add maybe also this guy. Add again. And we're going to make this guy a bit bigger. So we've got these animations we can play, so if you go preview that, preview the little animation, so he's got obviously these predefined animations to the left walking up, and etc, etc. And what we'll try and do, I think, is just basically make it so that when the player approaches this, we'll call him the wizard, then a dialog box will come up and populate the dialog box in the UI with some text. So we're going to want to add, for now we'll add nothing actually, maybe just, so we can add like, to demonstrate the effects actually I can do that. Let's add like a, not this, so this is your effects menu. We're going to do some sort of glow, which will be around the figure. It's going to be some weird sort of blue glow. Just select that. There we go. Distance we'll keep at 15. Just apply that. And I'm going to drag him on here. Now it needs to be much bigger because it's way too small in relation to the player. We'll put it about that size to scale. We'll preview. Let's see if it loads. Yeah, it's got its blue glow around him. You can see that. So that effect's been added. Obviously you can still walk through him, but at the minute that's not a huge deal. So I'm still walking around, but I look pretty terrible. So I'm going to try and just replace this. I don't know where the files are. Nope. I'm gonna get it from the. Okay, tell you what. I'm just going to copy all of these. Yeah, copy all these behaviors and get a different. Get the player character in, and then just copy all those behaviors basically, which will copy everything across that we need. And I think the one I wanted to use was the Bob Ross looking guy, if I can find him. This guy. Yeah, I want that guy, so where is he? Pod, where's the other guy? Oh, it doesn't matter too much really. Maybe, where is he? Seems to have disappeared. So, yeah, so that guy. Yeah, so I'm going to add him. There we go. Oh, I've added him. Sorry, I already added him. That's my bad. I'll delete that obviously. Delete. And then go on here. And paste. All those behaviours now are pasted in. Apply that. Double check with this. There's nothing else on here. Nope, it's fine. We're going to get rid of this guy. Now, hopefully that won't break anything, but I'll add this guy in here. I'm going to make him bigger, obviously. Probably about the same size as him. And we're going to delete that. I know I might have to edit the sprites a bit, but the events, but that's fine. I'm going to not select him. I want to select a different object. It was, what was it called? And in fact, I'm going to change the name. Player. I'll change that to rename player. Just so it's easier to track that, right? Easier to remember. So, move player. And again, player. We'll copy all these for different objects as well. So, for example, just paste that. Now we need to do it away from, not that, but conjurer. This guy, I think. And let's preview. Now I should have a character I can move around. Yep. Animations are off, but I can modify that in a minute. So obviously the animations aren't playing properly. Because he's just like, as you can see, he collides with the little ghost man now, which is good. Obviously we need to trigger off certain animations at certain times. So we've got this one, for example, for walking left, one for walking right. In fact, let me just see if I can turn off the rotation, see how that does. That might help. That might, I don't know, let's have a look. Yeah, so that is probably okay for what we need to do. Not to have the rotations, I'm not really exactly sure if that's really useful. Okay. Now it's not much to look at really at the minute, it's just what we might probably want to do is we want to trigger off the animations, for example, like walking up, walking right, walking left. So we're probably going to have to player. This is where we can go into the menus for checking for certain conditions and then what's going to happen. And like I said, with GDevelop you have all these predefined behaviors that you can then you can apply different whatever you need to change based on so probably, but yeah, based on what the conditions. So we probably want to update the animation whenever. So if the player's touching left, it'll play the left animation. If they're playing right, pressing right, sorry, it'll trigger the right, up and down, vice versa, right? So that's the thing we need to work out next. So I'm just going to figure out how to do that. We do it with the joystick first, actually. So that's probably the best thing. Oh yeah, pushed in the direction. So if we go left, that's the condition for the first one. This will be all. So this is basically for all the directions that are pressed. What's going to happen? And then put it on separate events probably. Up, down, up, right, be better. Right, up and down. I might have to move this around a bit. So just think of it like, if you think about, a, in fact, this would be better to do it a different way. Just go, yeah, so just put stick pressed, basically. Then we'll add the different conditions. Yeah, we'll add the different conditions here, so we'll do it that way. Because the initial conditions, the touching of the thing, actually, then we work out the different, and then we'll work it out for the keyboard afterwards. So. No, stick to this. Yeah, so I'm going to put them on separate events, I think. So get that. Make more sense. And here. So some of this is like fairly intuitive, but okay. So get that one up. We're going to go to player. I'm going to go animation. Find the animation. Animation. Play animation. Set to, what is it? Up, I think. Set it to up. Yeah. Copy that. Paste it. Paste it. This one then is right. This one then is down, of course. And one other one, so we'll just copy that again. You can also add in like useful notes for this, which is very useful. Just left. Left. Let's save that. And I'm going to get rid of that because that's useless. Save that. Now, it's only going to happen if I use the joystick, but this should now modify the animation. Yep, there we go, look. So the character now, his animation is updated when the player moves left, player moves right, player moves up, player moves down. And then the next thing would be to update that also when keyboard presses, but we'll do it the same way. So if the player is pressing, pressing up or down or left, you're going to get the same effect. Key is pressed, isn't it really? There we go, key pressed. So we'll do the up key. We'll just do it for all these. Key pressed, and we'll do it for down. And we'll do it for the others. Do it for right and left. And we should just be able to add those the same walking up. Just do it all there and just change it quickly. Okay, walking up, walking down. Now this should have the same effect. So we've got the mobile and the walking left. There we go. Now we should have, hopefully that'll work. Yeah, there we go. So we've got the movement on both the joystick with the associated animations working, and then collisions pretty much too. And graphics on all that, but it's the start in it, so that's good. So next we want to create our little dialogue. We'll call this little wizard guy. So we're going to create a bit of UI now. So I'm going to save that. And we're going to create a layer panel. So I'm going to create a layer called UI. Layers are, as you'd expect, they can be toggled on and off, which makes sense for a dialogue, right? Because you don't want it to always be viewable. And I'm just going to create a simple, basically a simple square. Maybe a background or something, a UI. Just use a predefined something or other. There's probably some nice ones as well. So we want probably a dialogue or something. Right, there we go. Dialog boxes. Could try that one. So look, it's a free one. Exclamation. No, we want just dialog boxes. We're going to add this. Yep. So this will have some like degree of that'll have some functionality, right, which is good. Get two choices. Go into the UI layer. So select that on there. I'm going to put that on there, so there we go. And I'm going to toggle the visibility of that to off. Just to check you can toggle it on and off. Yep, and if I toggle it on with that visibility marker there, you should see it come up, right? So there you go. So we've got, obviously there's no, it's not being toggled at the minute, but we know that that's going to show up like that, right? So maybe shift that because it's covering a bit too much of the screen. And you can think about all this whilst you're going along, like what sort of UI you want, but there you can see a little bit better. You can't, it's not blocking the screen, as it were. And then obviously when you get to the choice, let's look at the properties for this. So you could obviously change the labels, it doesn't have to be yes or no. Change the font settings, all these other like images and stuff. So that's where you'd actually customize the dialog box. And we're going to have there's no behaviors on it, but we won't worry about that yet too much, because what we want to do is basically trigger that to come up, or maybe we'll set the opacity and then we can do it maybe yeah, so we'll set the opacity down, so if it's on 0, yeah, so it should go invisible now. It should be invisible unless, and then we'll try and create a fade in instead of just see if we can do that. That'd be a bit better. So for example, when player, so select the player, if they collides with the conjurer, that's the condition for making the two choices dialog opacity. Visibility's there. We'll just hide. We'll show it. We could do show instead. That might be easier actually. We'll do the simpler thing rather than the complicated. We'll hide that programmatically at the start of the game. So start. We're gonna have to want to use something like this anyway. Scene. At the beginning of the scene. There we go. It's good to do this at the start anyway. So we put this all the way at the top, which makes sense, doesn't it? Right. And we'll just hide this. Hide. There we go. We'll hide it. We'll do it that way. Save that. That should be set to off. Yeah, cool. And then we'll just show. And dialog box. Let's just see if that works anyway. So obviously the dialog shouldn't be showing once it loads. Come on. Oh yeah, see, it doesn't show. Now, nope, it's not the collision, it's not working, so maybe I didn't say that'll do something wrong. Players in collision, show two dialogues. Oh, it's because the opacity's still at 0, so it probably was working, but it just wasn't showing. Save that. Press preview. Hopefully it's hidden. Yep, it is. So, yep, okay. But then we also need it so that once the player is out of collision with that goes away after a set amount of time. yeah, so that worked. So simplest way to do that actually I found just then was to invert the condition. You can do that so like it hides if he's not in collision with it basically. And then yeah, so there's no actual meaningful dialogue there. There isn't there, of course. So maybe.